Welcome, Switchy sisters and Danonites alike, to episode 35 of the weekly episodic gaming adjacent live stream podcast show. This is Switch to Ultra, back on Mondays, new. Andrew has currently come down with a sickness that doctors haven't discovered yet. It's my understanding that he built it in his home lab. But that's okay, because this week doesn't have as much intrigue. We're days away from the release of Metroid Prime 4, and weeks removed from the release of Kirby Air Riders. The new Pokemon DLC will follow the week after, as well as the announcement of a new Mega Form tomorrow. So before we can play Metroid or guess the Game Award winners or new Mega Forms or anything like that, all we have is tonight. Tonight Actually Act. I am your unelected co-parent, Dan.
And I am your elected normal co-parent, Switchy. And so BH Ultra, Andrew, BH Ultra, that guy, he's currently a little under the weather as apparently. So he's not comfortable enough to speak tonight. He's kind of lost his voice a little bit, so it's going to be up to us to fill in the gaps in the time of his absence. How are you feeling about that, Dan? How are you handling
Well, believe
that?
it or not, this was all according to plan. As you see, I infiltrated my way into the podcast a few weeks ago, and bit by bit, I've been slowly poisoning Andrew, making him weaker until I could take over as the host of the show. And
slowly,
then,
kind of, yeah.
Now, it's no longer switched to Ultra, it's switched to Funky Dan mode.
Funky Dan mode. Yeah, actually, that would make sense. I feel like BH Ultra's opinions and talking points have been slowly kind of influenced, perhaps as he's fallen ill. He's been kind of relying on you for some of the talking points, so that would make sense.
Exactly. It's been one small little gaslight after another, but it's finally coming together.
All right. Well, so this show is probably going to be a little shorter than usual. As much as I hate to admit, I think Andrew specifically does kind of do a lot of the. I'm reading the chat right now.
Yes.
He often does a lot of the heavy lifting in this show, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm admittedly a little nervous. I've never done this show on my own. I don't usually stream on my own, but well, I guess you're here. But like, I'm kind of supposed to be in the driver's seat. I'm not sure how ready I am for that. But I suppose, we can kind of just jump in. Metroid Prime 4 is only a couple days from now. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, luckily there hasn't been like any earth-shattering controversies since the last earth-shattering controversy of Metroid Prime 4, at least from what I can tell. I think there was something with like Nintendo, like quote unquote affiliates getting early access to the game to stream it or something, and maybe those quote unquote affiliates weren't really like Nintendo fans, they were just popular streamers or something. Again, I don't know like the direct I don't actually know the direct correlation between the two, so take that with a grain of salt, but nothing like the whole thing with Miles McKenzie. We haven't had a Miles McKenzie level nuke in the past few weeks, so that's good at least.
Yeah, I heard people talking about it today, and I heard some people say that he's not actually in the game for that long. I'm not sure if that's like cope or just people kind of turning around. I don't 100% know. Admittedly, I'm still a little skeptical about it, because unless the kind of quippy thing is only for a short portion of the game, I think a lot of what makes Metroid fun is kind of at risk here. Though I don't know, I've heard people saying that he's actually only in for a small portion of the beginning, and if that's the case, then I think this game will still be fun. And to be fair, even with an annoying sidekick, I'm pretty confident this game is going to be fun. Like, I think that I think that's a safe bet.
Oh yeah,
Metroid.
Sure.
I mean, I think ever since Other M, and I guess if you count Federation Force, I feel like they're pretty good at knowing what works in Metroid. So I don't know. I I think there's probably a good amount of love in this game and it's going to be visible, but I don't know. I'm still a little skeptical. I kind of want to see what people are saying about it before I like confidently, happily buy it, but I'll probably end up buying it anyway.
I mean, honestly, like, you know, hottest of hot takes. I never really hated the gameplay of Other M. I don't think they ever really messed up Metroid gameplay. I think they kind of always had it down to a T. I mean, I think obviously going back to the original Metroid and even Metroid 2 is archaic, but you can't really say they messed up the gameplay. But, you know, I'll always go back to Zero Mission or Samus Returns over the original two games just because they're better to control. They're a lot more QOL you know, options. So I think that definitely you know, I think they haven't really screwed up the gameplay aspect. It will take a miracle to screw that up. Story obviously is a completely different thing. You know, obviously we've seen that before. I mean, even I'd say, even if you know, I haven't played much of Metroid Prime 3. I like Metroid Prime 3 from what I played. Wasn't the biggest fan of the story. I think from what I can tell, it's basically that's basically like the consensus is that it's the weakest story of the trilogy. I could be wrong, but you know, I think you know, and that's nothing compared to Other M. And God, I think that might be it story wise. I don't think any other game is really screwed up story wise.
I mean, maybe this is naive because I'm not like super invested in the fan discussions, but I don't know. It seems to me that Other M's like the only Metroid game that people, I would say, overtly hate. You know what I mean? I mean,
yes. I think Federation Force is definitely up there as well, but that's also, I think that's more just because it is a game that has the Metroid name attached to it rather than people hating it as a Metroid game. It's like Nuts and Bolts being hated.
Yeah, it's like
Kazooie game.
And I wouldn't even, I think what I was saying, I don't even know if I would count that in like the way I was saying it, just because I don't know, it's like the weird ass like multiplayer co-op game with this fucked up art style. Like, I don't know, it's almost like saying that like how do the CDI Zelda games stack up with Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword? It just but I know why you would bring them up. There's also like the Metroid Prime pinball. How's that? Do people like that?
I mean, it's no one's favorite Metroid game, but it's not a bad game at all. I think it's actually pretty fun. You know, once you get into it, you know, it's a pinball game. You know, I think there was there like a DS Metroid Prime 2?
I think there was, yeah. Yeah,
Metroid Prime 2 got all the love. That's crazy.
I feel like you know, like the DS era was so weird. Because why did that game exist? I'm not saying it shouldn't exist, but it's like, I don't know, that's the idea of something like that is so foreign to me nowadays. It doesn't feel like something that would have actually happened, but lo and behold, it did. Yeah, so I mean, all things considered, I think, I don't know, admittedly, for these kinds of games, I'm not super eager to know all the information going forward, just because, I don't know, it's like, I like watching trailers is... I don't know. I watch them, but I don't really kind of spend too much time getting super invested in them because I don't know. I think I just don't want to spoil a lot for myself. And also, I don't know. It's like I think I'm also just I just don't get that excited by new gameplay features a lot of the time, if that makes sense. Like when they were showing off the Samus psychic powers thing, I kind of saw it. I'm like, oh, cool. You know, I'm not super pumped. I think I just have like a healthy amount of faith or a healthy kind of confidence that whatever kind of gameplay mechanics they introduce are probably gonna be pretty fun. I don't really kind of sweat about it too much, but yeah, but it is weird because, you know, I think this game kind of snuck up on me in a certain way. I think just because, you know, I don't know, especially when the holidays are involved, like before and after Thanksgiving, feels like very long, you know. I also just don't think it helps that it's so close to the release date of Kirby Air Riders, which is another series that has had quite a long gap. You're saying, because like it does feel weird to me that, you know, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out in like 3 days, and like with Kirby Air Riders, it was like, oh, I feel the hype. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And with Metroid Prime 4, I still feel that, but it's nowhere near like the
that level. You know, it's like I'm excited, yes, but I'm not like outwardly like waiting, you know, like
Chomping at
tapping
the
my
bit.
exactly, you know, which is crazy because
Yeah.
like that's arguably the game that more people are waiting for. That's the one that more people are excited, at least more of the hardcore fans.
I definitely am one of those people. I mean, admittedly, you know, I've been playing Kirby Air Riders and it's been fun. You know, it's not like a game I dislike, but honestly, if I didn't feel like I had some sort of obligation to, you know, play it pretty extensively for this show, I think I probably would have kind of fallen out of it. Not because it's a bad game. Admittedly, I'm just not much of a Kirby guy. So, you know, like, I think it's just, I don't know. I think you understand what I mean. It's easy to kind of like fall out of favor of playing a game consistently, but like I was excited for it just because it's really cool seeing a game like that come back after so much time. Do you think Kirby has raised the best Switch 2 game, or is it still solidly Donkey Kong? Who's saying that?
Well,
Is that
I
BH
think
Holder
Donkey
saying that?
Kong probably has a smaller learning curve. Like you really have to click with Kirby Air Riders controls to really get into it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that just do not click with it, and that's fine. Like you're not going to click with it, and that is fine. Like it's not a racing game. It is a party game based around racing. Like it is
Yeah.
a very different kind of game. And I think people didn't really realize that going into it, despite the fact that we had 2 full-on directs. So again, it's crazy. You know, I'd say Donkey Kong Bonanza is still like the Switch 2 game of, you know, of all time. You know, can we even count Metroid Prime 4 since it's technically not a Switch 2 game?
That's another thing that's kind of annoying about this era is the kind of halvesies games. It's not actually a big deal, but it's like, I feel like in like 5 years, 10 years, there are going to be people arguing about like whether Prime 2 is a Switch or a Switch 2 game, and it's going to be kind of annoying. I mean, like, what do people consider Twilight Princess? Do they consider Twilight Princess to be a GameCube or a Wii game?
That one I'd say is probably the most divisive. I would say if you ask something like Breath of the Wild, I'd say 98% of people would say
Switch, right? But I think of Twilight Princess GameCube, honestly.
Okay, yeah. I think of that as GameCube as well. Like, I think, you know, because I think back to like the Zelda like demo shown at like that E3 years and years ago, where people were like, I don't want this cartoony ass Zelda. Where's my mature Zelda? You know, and then they showed this off, and then freaking Miyamoto comes out with the sword and the shield, and it was beautiful. And that was the GameCube. So I definitely think of it more as a GameCube game myself. But it is weird. And I would say ZA is a Switch game. I think it's a Switch game. I mean, it runs pretty okay on people actually said it runs pretty well on Switch. Like it's not like a 60 FPS game, but like it runs. And I don't know. I think it's so tough to say.
For me, it's a Switch 2 game because I spent $70 on it.
That's fair. That is 100%.
Well, you know, actually, it's funny that we're kind of talking about this because I think one of the big reasons that I might consider Twilight Princess a GameCube game is because of Skyward Sword. And Skyward Sword, it like so much more immediately like punches you in the face with the fact that it's a Wii game that I feel like Twilight Princess just feels more like a GameCube game by comparison. But a lot of this is just like stupid and subjective. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just like,
I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying. That is completely fair. But I genuinely this is gonna be so annoying because it's like let's pretend you're like a kid at Christmas and you have a Switch and a Switch 2, or let's just pretend you only have a Switch 2 and you ask your mom for like, oh, can I please get a Metroid Prime 4 for the Switch 2? Like, can you blame her if she accidentally gets the Switch version? Like, good thing is, at least with first party games, from what I can tell, there's always a direct upgrade path. Like you can always just pay $10 more to upgrade it. But like, it's just gonna get so annoying. You know, it's gonna get annoying.
You know, that reminds me of a fun anecdote. My dog's like making noise or whatever. Oh, hopefully you guys can't hear that. One thing that I always found pretty interesting was, or this is kind of a fun anecdote, is that, you know, like buying video games for children when you don't know what video games are is like a challenge that I think, is hard for people our age to grasp in a certain way.
Mhm.
Because like, well, first of all, I mean, we always joke about like your parents not knowing what Pikachu is, and that's like kind of ridiculous to us. But I think if it's just so distant from you, because like for example, someone like my mom, she's never played video games. My grandparents have definitely never played video games. So one thing I learned is that, well, I learned this a few years after it happened. My grandmother, my great grandmother, before she passed away, they would they would want to get me and my sister and other grandkids like Christmas gifts, but they didn't. I used to think they were like hauling their asses to like GameStop or Best Buy and buying whatever like was on our list or something like that. But I found out they would just like give my parents like, oh, here's this much money, just get him something he wants, And I think the reason it was important for me to learn that was because like I think I was like 14 and I wanted Bayonetta. So I like my grandma, like there's like a gift wrapped by my grandma, and I open it up and it's like Bayonetta, this like ass and titty game, and I kind of like I kind of panic a little bit. It's like the idea of her going and buying Bayonetta like kind of brought me anxiety, but then I found out that that's not what happened. But I don't know, I was just reminded of that because yeah, I'm thinking to myself, like if you're just like a miserable ass parent just trying to buy whatever the fuck the kids are talking about, it's probably difficult with these Switch 2 versions and stuff like that. And I don't know. I mean, I think there's, as you said, with the first party stuff, at least there are avenues around it. Like maybe if a parent accidentally buys their kid with a Switch 2, the Switch 1 edition, it's like, oh, there's just like an extra $10 purchase on the Nintendo shop. But I don't know. Like fortunately, we have like backwards compatibility and everything, so it's not usually the end of the world. But actually, now that I think about it, like it's gonna suck if some kid that only has a Switch 1 gets bought a Switch 2 game.
Right. I totally see what you're saying. It's definitely the same for me. I remember whenever I did lists, I always did it in a way that was very, very like precise. So I'd email them and I'd be like, I want this for the Nintendo Switch, physical, not digital. I would include a picture of what it was and I'd have a direct link to it. So there was no way it could mess up. And I don't think it ever was messed up. So at the very least, we were good on that level.
Yeah. Though I will say, I've gotten more, I've gotten more sympathetic to the adults because, well, first of all, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with Xbox nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, there's like different versions of the Xbox Series X and stuff like that. But also, I remember when I first tried getting a PlayStation 3, I wanted to get one that was backwards compatible, and it was so hard to navigate, like, what was, because I think some of the models were and weren't. So I don't know.
No idea how that works.
Yeah,
because I heard that's a whole nightmare. That's like the one console like I never like owned at any point in time. And
really?
I don't even want to think about the nightmare of owning a PS3 because that just sounds like a headache and a half from everything.
Oh yeah.
Like that just sounds, from what I've heard, it just sounds like headache the console, whether it be, oh, is this backwards compatible? Is it not? The stupid HDCP thing, like that was a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder Xbox 360 kind of won that generation. But anyway, like, all of this to say is that, well, what even are the benefits of the Switch 2 edition to Prime 4? Is it just like better graphics? Is there something specific?
It's better graphics, better frame rate, and you can play in mouse mode. So you can like, you can actually like use it as a mouse for pointing and clicking, which is cool. It's cool. I think a lot of people prefer that. Personally, I probably won't be doing that. I'll probably just be using gyro. I don't know.
Yeah, I might be kind of an old head about it just because, well, I don't know. I don't really have like, I haven't really done the mouse thing really. Maybe it'd be cool if I gave it a shot, but I guess like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to get the grip on the Joy-Con. It's just not that enticing to me, all things considered. But
I don't have a problem with it. I just think like I don't have the desk space, and doing it on your leg.
That's a part of it too for me.
It just doesn't work for me. I try on the leg, and it's just like this is not. I'm not feeling this right now. I can't imagine doing that for something. I couldn't do it for a Welcome Tour. I couldn't even imagine doing it for something like Metroid Prime.
Yeah. So, and honestly, all things considered, I mean, it's different if it's like a first person shooter with like where you're playing against other people. And I think some people who really like gyro control will debate me on this, but I think, you know, for a lot of single player games, like controller plus gyro is enough, you know?
I agree.
Like
I think that's
it's
true.
it's like, I mean, I think Splatoon is a good example.
Mhm.
Though once again, as I said, like I've never really like for like a PC classic PvP shooter, I'll always want to play mouse. I don't think there's going to be a way I'm going to be convinced against that, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Metroid Prime 4, I'm excited. You know, I think I first play. Oh, you didn't hear that? My bad. Drop something. Yeah, hit that later. Metroid Prime 1, I love Metroid Prime 2. I never finished 3. But you know, it's an awesome series, and I don't know, it's funny. I feel like things that are crazy when you first hear about them, eventually you take them for granted. I think there's an element to which this game coming out is a very big victory for a lot of people. I mean, this was a game that was announced, and the development of it has been just like nightmarish, apparently. I mean, at least we don't know the stories, but the fact that they had to restart the game effectively and it still took forever after that. I remember being like 2020 and hearing that the game was delayed and thinking about like, wow, it was 2018 when this game was like delayed. Like, what the hell's happening with this game? You know, it's just been like such a long period of time that I don't know. Now that we have it, I feel like there's a part of me that's not as excited about it as I should be, just because, like, I don't know, this is a big success. We haven't had a Prime game in like 17 years, so I don't know. I mean, same goes for Air Riders. I mean, that's a game series that we haven't had. That's like one kind of a niche game too. I mean, actually, we were talking about this just a few minutes ago about how like you notice a lot of people, they seem to kind of, I don't want to say don't get it, but aren't like jiving with it as much as they thought they would or whatever. And you know, for what it's worth, I think the original Air Riders kind of had a similar thing. Like it wasn't what a lot of people were expecting, and that's why I think the critical reviews were kind of tepid, maybe a little mixed. And it's just a unique kind of game, and I'm glad that it was popular enough to get a sequel, you know?
For sure. I mean, yeah, it took like years and years and years to get it, but we got it. You know, we got it. So I'm glad that we did.
Which GameCube game is going to get a legacy sequel next? I don't know. I'm trying to think of like other like really kind of quirky GameCube era games that
like, are we talking games that did not get a sequel at all, or are we talking like games?
Yeah, I mean, like, how many examples of the? Well, I mean, if you include Metroid Prime, then it's a little bit different. But like, I don't know. Like, I would include Luigi's Mansion in that kind of like category of like weird GameCube shit. But that game series kind of like, I think Nintendo supported that a little bit more consistently. I think just on the basis of it being Mario, even though I think I didn't know this when I found this out, that like when Luigi's Mansion first came out, it was a lot more divisive than it is now. I assume just because it was kind of a weird idea for a launch title.
Yeah, it was the launch. We had no idea what Mario was going to look like on this next gen. And the idea that this was Mario, you know, people were like nervous. You know, I think that's also why Wind Waker was so negative,
Wind Waker too
at launch. And you know, I mean, again, if we're talking about like games that have had other games in the series, I mean, I think enough people have voiced this by now, but like we need another Chibi Robo. I
was thinking that too, but I don't know enough about Chibi Robo to be like passionate about it.
Like, we need one that is like the original. There is no other game that is quite like it. And we just, you know, it's just, I feel like, you know, obviously it's not like it's a first party, but it's not a first party. It's weird. Skip folded. They didn't fold. I don't know the whole story, but like, they added it to GameCube Online relatively quickly, mind you. I think it was like the second new game they added after Mario Strikers. So clearly they know that there's like a demand for it. Like they know there's a demand for people to play that want to play Chibi Robo. I get it. I played through Chibi Robo again when it was on Nintendo Online. So I don't see why they're holding off on it. I mean, they brought back Rhythm Heaven. They brought back Tamagotchi Life. I feel like, if we're going through that basis, I mean, I think Chibi Robo is pretty close. I mean, they brought back Pikmin. They brought back Pikmin.
I was going to say Pikmin's like another example of it kind of working out because, well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, Pikmin 3 came out 2013 and then Pikmin 4 kind of was like sort of up in the air for a while, but that's like, I feel like a series that sort of doesn't have the same kind of, we're never going to get it again kind of reputation as it used to have.
That's one game remake, Thousand Year Door.
That was weird. Yeah, the 1,000 Year Door remake. For me, like the fact that came out in the same year as like Brothership and like a year after the Mario RPG remake.
It was like, okay, we got a Mario RPG. It's gonna be at least like 5 more years till we get the next one. Oh no, wait, we're getting new Mario and Luigi. Okay, that's it. We're not getting anything else. Then we're getting TTYD.
It's like no. I always imagine that as Nintendo being like, all right, our bad, my bad. Okay, guys. Because I mean, I think the fact that they remade the 1,000 Year Door still kind of doesn't feel real to me, just because I don't know. It feels like in a certain way those early Paper Mario games are sort of scorned. Though I mean that's a little bit. I don't know. I definitely have like a Paper Mario persecution complex, so that's just me saying that. What other game series?
I will say, I'm an Origami King apologist. I think that might be my favorite Paper Mario experience. I didn't say game. I said experience. I think, people don't like the ring system. I get it. It's not for everybody. But I think that the story is probably my favorite told. I like the characters a lot.
Interesting.
I think now that we have TTYD, it's definitely mellowed out the hatred. But at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't hate if the next Paper Mario game just did away completely with turn-based and went like the adventure, like Zelda kind of route that it did for, I'd say like 70% of Origami King, where you're not fighting, you're just going through the overworld, that kind of thing. I'd like that. I'd also like if it went back to the original 2-game style, but I'm just saying, like, I think that, like, honestly, either or could work, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about like GameCube era games, do you think we're ever going to get like another of those like Wario World, Wario platformer action games?
Honestly, Wario World is fascinating because like I like Wario World. It's not my favorite, but like it's a little upsetting that like we haven't gotten a Wario game that is not WarioWare since Smooth Moves. Not Shake It. And that's really upsetting because like it is a really fun platforming series. It is a very fun platforming series, and Wario World is also pretty fun. Except I wouldn't exactly call it a platforming game as much as I call it.
I was guessing. I've never played it.
A beat 'em up kind of. It still has platforming, but there's definitely a lot more beat 'em up, inspirations in it. I just think like GameCube really was the weird child, the black.
Yeah.
sheep.
At the same time, those games are coming out. You also had the Wario Land 4, and I know some people that like swear by that game.
It's
like
so
it's crazy.
It's so good.
Like it's like
3 is better, but 4 is so good.
Yeah.
4 is so good. Just never make Master Disguised again. They know what they did. That one was terrible.
What do people hate about that game?
It doesn't work, and there's like 100 million text boxes, and it's just, why is there so much yapping in a Wario game? Let's pick the pace up. Come on.
That's funny.
It's just like, it's not fun to play either. The controls suck. It's one of those DS games where touching is everything, and you have to draw precise things, and it doesn't always draw precisely. So it's very like, it's kind of like, I wish that they'd remake the DS Zelda games with non-touch controls, because those would be very fun, I think.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Wario games. I wouldn't be surprised. To me, from an outsider's point of view, I haven't played a lot of these games. I've only played a little bit of like Wario Land 4, I think. It seems to me, at least, like the non-WarioWare games, I think they just petered out because Master of Disguise didn't seem to do very well in terms of like reception. Neither did Wario World. I don't know how Wario Land Shake It did. Was Wario Land Shake? Do people like that one?
People like it. I just think there's also that one was probably the most expensive because that was a 2D like hand-drawn game. They're like everything
Yeah.
is 2D and hand-drawn. Like
I
that
remember
must have
seeing a
been
lot of advertisements for it on like Nintendo. There was like this like WiiWare kind of like Nintendo Minute-esque show they did back then. I forgot what it was called. I used to watch that. I remember they talked a lot about Wario Land Shake It back then. But yeah, I guess it just doesn't. I guess the series just didn't really wasn't seen as like particularly enticing to keep making games for, at least, you know, back then.
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
yeah.
I you know, even if they just do like a re-release remake of the first 4 games, I think that'd be cool because it's like showing, hey, you know, we remember these. We know you guys like these. You know, we think that's pretty rad of you. And the fact that it holds the modicum of, at least for most people, the one good Virtual Boy game is crazy and nothing to scoff at either.
Random question. Do you know what's going on with Project M?
I did just, you know what? It's so funny. I just saw that tweet like 5 minutes before we started, and I'm like, wait, are they ending? Wait, were they still going? But I think it's just them like it being like the 10-year anniversary of them releasing the last update or something. I don't know. I don't follow Project M that much.
Yeah,
but that's what I saw, at least. I could be wrong. There could be something else completely like different.
yeah, that's probably it. Cause yeah, I've never really, I did install Project M on my Switch, not Switch, my Wii back in like, I was like 14 or something. But I never got that into it just because, I don't know, although it's really cool. I mean, I've played like Project Plus, especially online, but like, I don't know, I guess I just never got into it just because there's kind of a barrier to entry of it, and there's a lot of people who just don't play it. But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's all I really have to say about Metroid Prime 4. There's a new Pokemon DLC coming up, which once again, like, I'm just excited for the new Mega Evolutions. I don't think I'm gonna get it. Like, it's just
I think we're getting another new Mega tomorrow, right? Like another new Mega reveal. I mean, I think I'll wait probably just because it's like, I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm all rogued out right now. I don't have time to dive deep into rogue territory, and I don't have the time right now to dive into. I'm a bit more liquid. Maybe when it goes on sale in like 10 years, then I'll buy it.
For sure, because it's $30, you know, and the fact that like it all takes place in the same map, like, I don't know, I'm not super convinced that I'm gonna want it, all things considered. But I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it's gonna be really cool because there are some interesting-ish new ideas to how the game's gonna be played. There's like the new levels and stuff. I don't actually know how much we really know about the new kind of like gameplay, but you know, I mean, it looks like okay, but I'm just not really eager to pay $30 for it. Like, I don't know, but yeah, it really just kind of starts and ends like, oh cool, you know, new Mega Evolutions is pretty exciting because I like new Mega Evolutions, but I don't know, like it's just, I don't think I'm gonna get much out of just like playing it directly.
Right. No, I mean, it really is just to catch them all. So I'm kind of like this.
Yeah.
Fan. I did get that one gift Pokemon after that. What's it called? After that, like direct. I beat the game. I got it. So that was interesting. But you know, I think I'm not worried too much about playing it. Maybe I'll see what people are saying online about it because I don't think it's like story relevant. Like I don't think there's gonna be like many spoilers, right? I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of these Pokemon stories kind of play out the same way. I'm curious, did you ever get the Scarlet and Violet DLC?
I have Scarlet and no, I have Violet, and I have not touched it a single time ever. It is.
Oh, you never played it?
It is collecting dust. I just have had no like drive or motivation to play it. That was like when it was at its like, that was when Pokemon was at its like darkest for me. Like I was so tired of seeing the toxicity around it.
It is, yeah.
I was not feeling it.
Well, you know, I never played which one did I play first? Sword and Shield. I remember when it came out, I was so mad about Dexit that I decided not to get it. And I never played it until my sister still got it. So at the end of 2021, trying to think of the order I played these games. I think I played it, and then I played it. You know, it's like kind of a low budget, kind of ugly Pokemon game. It's still Pokemon, so I still played it. You know, I had about as much fun as you have like with a Pokemon kind of playthrough. I didn't get the DLC because I didn't want to pay for anything. And then I think I'm trying to remember